Coming to you from sunny Orlando, Florida, welcome to the Paperstac podcast, where we cover current topics in the note industry, give you tactics for your note business, and talk with industry leaders to make you a better note investor. And now, your hosts, Brett Berkey and Rick Allen.
All right, welcome to another episode of the Paperstac podcast. I am Brett Berkey with Rick Allen.
Yep.
Yes. So last time we had our first podcast and we talked about a little bit what's going on with this whole COVID thing. And we decided to change the topic this week and not do something on the news right now. It's a little gloomy. So what we decided to do was just tell the origin story. How did this get started? How did Paperstac start and how did the team form? It's a really interesting story. I've got some funny things to it. And so Rick, I'm going to turn this over to you. But before we do, just remember everyone, this podcast is sponsored by Paperstac. If you currently don't have an account, please just go to paperstac.com. It's free to start, free to list, and start bidding on some assets. There is an increase of inventory on the platform. That one just came over where they're uploading a bunch of stuff like right before this podcast. There's stuff to look at. Start a safe search. Always be alerted as soon as something that you like hits the platform. But after that, let's go ahead and get started. Rick, tell me how this started. So I'm sure people are curious of why.
Yeah, I get the question a lot. What was the idea for Paperstac? How did it start? Where did you guys come up with the idea? And it is an interesting story. Just my background ties into it a little bit. I had been buying distressed assets now for probably 15 or 16 years. And in 2011, I had a company, TJ and I, our other partner, we owned together and we sold it off at the end of 11. And we were going to have a lifestyle business and play some golf, build a rental portfolio. And we actually ended up buying a mortgage note around, 3 months into our lifestyle business. And we did really well on it. It was a frame duplex. It was in Winter Garden, Florida. The debt was $90,000. We paid $8,400 for it. Got the house back and had it sold within 14 days. All kind of things we did wrong there that we probably shouldn't have, but we came through it. And we sold it for $38,000. And so we're like, wow, this is great. So we did that over. And one of the first big trades we did, we had about $250,000 out. And it was a night from front to back, from the due diligence side to the collateral side. It was crazy. We were in the process of running our due diligence. For one thing, they were telling us, okay, you have all the due diligence materials. We sent it to you. It's in Dropbox. And I was looking like, we don't have it. I don't see it anywhere. And it turns out that they were saying Dropbox, but what they meant was Box, which is a competitor of Dropbox. And I actually had a Box account and I didn't know it. And one of the things with Box is it automatically accepts invitations to folders and doesn't tell you. And so I was like, man, or if it did tell me that email got buried into my 50,000 emails I have. Not a joke. I had 50,000. So we got the due diligence documents. We started looking at the assets, and like 12 of the ones that we bid on, 8 of them were not there anymore. They'd been demoed. 2 other ones were lost to taxes. It was just, so we were looking at it going, oh my gosh, it was a nightmare. They wound up replacing those assets with ones that weren't lost to tax deed and that weren't demolished. And one of the collateral files we actually ended up getting in when we did complete the trade, only thing in the collateral file that was original was the lost note affidavit. Everything else was copies. So at that point, TJ and I looked at us and we said, this is crazy. And the fact that I have to send my money to these people that I don't know, they're going to hold it. They're going to send me, and we have to release the funds. And then they send us the collateral file. And we get this collateral file back that was like Swiss cheese, man. There's no way I can take that to court. We said, we got to change this. TJ and I are not what I would say tech guys. We didn't have a great concept of the technology we wanted to use. We just knew we wanted to develop a website. So we saw some other websites out there and we said, oh, let's just go build something like that. And we did what I think everybody does when they start out to build something. They outsource it. And we outsourced it overseas. And over the course of probably 9 months, we vaporized around $25,000 and got back. It was bad because I had no issues with India or anything like that, but there was a little bit of a language barrier there.
Yeah.
And so we weren't able to communicate very well. we were at our wits' end. And actually, I wound up bumping into Brett one day when we were at Publix, or I was at Publix. And I was talking to Brett, and we were saying, hey, what's going on? Catching up. If you guys don't know, Brett and I went to college together, spent many a good day in Gainesville, listening to Brett play the guitar and going out and having a good time. So we're catching up at Publix. I'm telling Brett what we're doing. He's like, I want to come in and talk to you. We're talking about note investing, the platform. And so Brett comes into the office and the next day, and he's in there, and we're talking for probably an hour. And Brett's really pumped up and excited. I'm like, Brett, I don't know why you're here. Are you here to invest in notes? Are you here to learn? Are you here to work Paperstac, or not Paperstac? It was at the time, it was called Investment Note Exchange, is what we were going to call it. He goes, no, I just want to work with you on Investment Note Exchange. And Brett, we don't have any real capital right now. He's coming on board. So Brett came on board and trying to help us sort out the issues we were having with our outsourced developers. Brett did a great job, set up repository. He was like, hey, where's the repository? Do they have a GitHub? I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, Brett. What's get what? Moving forward, it ends up that when we finally get the working product back, or the product they gave us, it was really bad. So I said, you know what? Let me show this to somebody I know.
Are you new to the mortgage note industry? Have you been wanting to learn the step-by-step process to purchase your first mortgage note? Well, you're in luck. We've convinced our CEO, Rick Allen, to break down everything he knows about mortgage note investing. Through a series of 50 videos, you'll get everything from start to finish of where to purchase notes, how to purchase notes, and all of Rick's investing techniques he has developed over the many years. From performing note tactics to non-performing notes, Rick gives you everything he knows about investing. Bonuses include our glossary of industry terms, Rick's own proprietary calculators he created to evaluate notes, discounts from our partners, our Rolodex of vendors, a private Facebook group, along with a lot more. We've packed so much content into the Academy to take you from beginner to expert in no time. To learn more about the Academy, go to academy.paperstac.com/welcome. Again, that is academy.paperstac.com/welcome.
Mike McLin, who is now our fourth founder, foreshadowing there. But I said, Mike, take a look at this. This is the platform we're developing, and let me know your thoughts. And then from there, Brett started working with Mike and talking to him. And basically, Mike said it was not good. There was tons of security issues. I think he called it spaghetti code or something along those lines. And I was like, would you be interested in developing it for us? And he said, I would only do it if there's ownership involved. I'm not doing it for just getting paid jobs. I don't do that anymore. So from there, I was like, okay. He called me back up after a couple of days. Like, look, I don't even really understand what you guys are doing, but Brett is so excited about it. He goes, I'm in. I'm in. And from there, we had 4 founders, and we started developing the first run at Paperstac. It was so funny. We thought we were we were taking over the world. Here we go. This is like October of 15, I think. We started putting the rubber to the road, and we started going, attending conferences. And we're like, yep, here we come, Paperstac, here we come. And I remember we were at one conference, and we had a sign-in page. This was all we had. We were like, dude, you can sign in and you can verify your account with your cell phone. And somebody walked up to Mike, and he's looking at it. He goes, what are you guys even doing? You don't have anything.
Yeah.
And you can attest, Brad. People were just always looking at us like, you're getting there. I remember we finally showed up. We launched our beta product in November of 17 at the Note School event in Dallas. And it was
beta we launched it. I am in September, Dana Point.
Was it Dana Point? Oh, it was. You're right.
Yeah.
It was Dana Point. We were out on the balcony and you recorded something.
That's right.
That's true. But I remember the Note School event because that's where the guy said this to Mike, what are you even doing here? And that was a lot of the Note School or the note investors that we knew. I remember them all being like, wow, you guys, you finally did it. And even looking at that now, man, one of the things we realized right away is that we had a great product, but this could be so much better. And we actually immediately started a rewrite of the product. Once the whole code base, we launched beta, we started rewriting the code base immediately into the framework that we're on now, which was really, it was so lucky, wasn't it? Because had we had the products finished 6 months earlier and started a rewrite, we wouldn't potentially have what we have now, because the framework that we started writing this on
Wasn't out.
it wasn't out at that time. It literally came out weeks, like 2 weeks prior to the rewrite.
Yeah,
And
it was pretty new. He's probably one of the most knowledgeable guys on something Firebase, because he's using it in ways that people are using it, and he took a leap of faith, and now it's a kind of a way that people do code, but that was a leap of faith, but a good one, you know.
yeah, it was it was great. We started the rewrite just immediately. Right, it was literally right when Firebase came out, and we were pretty excited. Okay, we're gonna change things up on make it a little bit more dynamic. And along this time, we had somebody come up, and this was for me was like, because I was a little, oh my gosh, this is scary. But this was like when an institutional guy came up. He's like, look, I'm the buyer. I've already got a seller, but our investors are requiring us to use a platform like yours. I need to do $1 million transaction on there. Here it is. I've already got, everything's done. All we got to do is upload it on. And we did upload it, and everything certainly worked out. Actually, that was a really rocky. That one was that was rocky. We learned a lot just from that.
Yeah.
But since then, we launched our version 1.0.
The stable version is what we call it.
The stable one,
yeah,
in November of 18.
Right. That Node
And
Expo.
ever since then, it's continually, we made some big additions. One of the most notable ones, I would say, is contract for deed. The ability to go to do notes, and then contract for deed was certainly a big one. What else has been pretty monumental?
What we're doing right now is pretty monumental. The changes that we will have by the summers, that's going to change everything. I don't know if we can talk about it.
I think we can hint around at it. Some of the stuff, like security wise, that we're doing right now is we're implementing a KYC and an AML, right?
Which is
know your customer. So that way it's a way to deter nefarious individuals. People are coming out in there with bad intent. We'll have people's identity, not in our database, in a different database, but to where we'll know if somebody comes on and they start doing bad things, we'll know who they are, and we'll be able to block them and lock them off the platform. And then if people are coming onto the platform who have done bad things in the past, we'll know who they are. So
yeah, it's definitely a way to keep the people out that don't have good intentions or wasting people's time. Really what we're trying to do is we work hard to get buyers and we work hard to get sellers. And the last thing I want is all that hard work to go to waste. So when people are there, they're expecting a certain level of investor. They don't want to be drug around to learn that somebody's trying to shop their loans. And so when we've seen that in the past, we kick them off. Like that's not how it goes. So they're not being upfront and honest. We don't like that. And so this will help us probably have less users, but a higher user base of good people. So that's the goal.
Yeah. And I think touching on the stuff that's happening over the next 4 months by the summer, we're definitely looking at breaking out the transaction to where people can just do a closing. You don't need to be on the platform. You don't need to be on the marketplace side of things. You'll be able to execute a closing just much like how that is the first institutional buyer did. When they came in, they said, look, we got the buyer, we got the seller. I just want to do the closing. Because that's one thing, honestly, it's what people have been asking for. A lot of people have been asking like, hey, can I utilize your escrow? Hey, I just want to do the closing part, the collateral on it. And so we're breaking that out to where it can just be ordered a la carte on there, which is going to be great. And then REO.
Yep.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Mike sees this. He's going to be like, you don't do that. You don't tell what's coming. But no, REO. And then we'll keep the other one we'll keep the other one locked down. The other thing. But yeah, there's some exciting stuff coming along. It's going to be great for Paperstac. But the journey's been crazy.
Yeah,
Right?
it's been fun. When we go out and go to these different conferences, I like when we first started, we didn't really know anybody. Now I feel like when we go there, it's like a reunion. So I get to see all our friends, and it's a great time. And I don't know when we'll be able to go to
The mayor, when you go there, everybody knows Brett Berkey.
I don't know. But yeah, it's fun but when we're going to go to a conference again, it might be a little bit far out, but that's something in the journey of hard lessons learned. I love the fact that as a team, we are always saying you're allowed to make mistakes, but just not twice. And the way we do it, where we take, okay, what we do, what screwed up, how do we fix it, and moving forward,
Oh yeah.
what's the process? And I think that's something that a lot of people don't know about Paperstack is that we're very structured, and so we couldn't because people think it's a bigger company, but it's not. But we have our things we're doing each day, knocking these things out. There's tickets, there's the way it's communicated, and I think because of doing that, I've learned a whole bunch, just grown as a professional in just all aspects because of stuff like that. But it bleeds over to my personal life. I use the same systems to get stuff done around the house. But it's one of those things where I wouldn't trade this for the world. This is fun for me.
I mean, it's certainly enjoy the journey. Not It's all about the journey, not the destination. Looking forward to. It's weird to say that I don't think there is a destination on Paperstack. Obviously, you want to build it up as big as possible, or we have our sort of end goals of where we'd like to see the company go. But it's always growing. It's always
Some of
it's
those new
always
things
something
we're
that's
talking about.
evolving. Yeah, it's
This
funny. You are
Go
here.
ahead.
See if my
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's funny, there goes my daughter walking through where this is like the new norm, isn't it? Like, I can't tell you how many conference calls or phone calls I've been on when there's kids in the background walking through. And that's just because right now we're all in lockdown.
Yeah, that part's weird. I think also too, when this is all said and done and we get back to some kind of normal focus of life, I think it's going to be hard to go back to the old way of how people were scanning and sending things. The county's they're not recording stuff because it's not on a print piece of paper. It's 2020. It's just things like that just seem to be like, this is a good time for the world to just say, do we really need to do it like with these print papers and scanning? The government's doing electronic signatures and electronic notary. Why are
Skills, right? So
Huh?
it's, like just seeing, I agree with you, man. Coming through all of this is going to be like life is going to change in general. People are working at home. There are people who can work at home, and corporations are going to see, wow, you can do that. We've actually had people even reach out to us and talk to us about some of the potential for Paperstack just because of the way there's these automated workflows, and you can have some global analytics into where is that workflow in its process of maturity. You can see how it's 93% of the way done or 75% of the way done or whatever, and it updates automatically. So I think that's all tying into people are going to start working at home a little more. I wouldn't be surprised if that's something huge that you see out of this, that people being able to work at the house.
I wouldn't mind if I had an office. I have to sit on the back porch and stuff. It's like one of those things where I should have grabbed everything, but I did. I didn't. I was like, I'll be back in a couple weeks. Crap.
I came home with a truckload. I had to set up the office. I knew, I was like, man, this could be, and even it wasn't. I said, I know it's going to be at least 2 or 3 weeks. And I was like, for me, that'd be a long time not working without my main PC, even though I can do some stuff. And it's all in the cloud, but I got 2 monitors here. I have 3 at the office, 3. So I'm like roughing it right now on 2, but
Yeah.
but it's lots going to change and probably for the better.
Yeah. Let's hope so. I think we'll all come out of it a little bit more focused on what matters. I've got to spend a lot of time with my family. A lot of times working away, not being at home a lot. My youngest, I missed a lot of that part when she was growing up because it was when we were building Paperstack. But now I'm hanging out with her. At the end of the day, turn it down and go outside. We do a project. We've been doing chalk, made tie-dye, made paper mache, bath bombs. It's take the time to reflect on the family and build that relationship because I think in 20 years, they're gonna be sitting around with their friends. And they're gonna say, "What did you do during that time?" And I think for myself, I better behave during this time and be a good dad because that's gonna be stuck with them forever. Overall, I am a good dad, but just like the fact of being an extraordinary dad, because at this time they're gonna look back and say, "I remember when they're 80." They'll be like, "I played with my dad. We went outside. You did these," because these things are gonna be deep in their psyche moving forward. I almost did something for April Fool's Day where I was going to tell them that it's off. You guys can go outside and go play with your friends. And as soon as they were going to get out of the garage, I was going to say April Fool's, but they're
Did one April Fools. We told them Governor DeSantis had said that there's just going to be too much time this. Everybody's going to redo the grade they're in. Rick, you're redoing 5th grade.
Oh my,
Grace was first grade and Grant was DPK. And oh my gosh, the reactions I got from them were
oh my
priceless.
God.
It
Oh
was,
yeah.
it was good. But anything else, or should we
No, I'm
shut
trying to
it
keep
down?
these short. I just want to tell the people the origin so they can listen to this one. I know this is the
Did I
second
leave
one, but
anything out?
no, I think that's pretty much everything. I think the only thing I remember that I started off on a bad foot. I ran out of gas on the way to your office. I remember that. I was like, damn, how did I run out of gas? I remember I had to go to get a gas tank. And just something I always remember. And I was like, man, this is a bad way to start this. And so, yeah, but
An hour late?
yeah, so I ran out of gas,
Oh,
stuck
wow.
in traffic. And I was like, I'll make it. I'll make it. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh crap. I got to pull into the median. And that was a mess, but that's it. So this is our second episode of Paperstac Podcast. Again, if you're listening and you enjoy it, we'd love for you to leave a comment. Or again, if you haven't got an account, go over and get an account. And if you're a user and you're looking for something that you want to see on the platform, we're all ears. Just reach out to support, and we'll be more than happy to review it. And if it works, it's something we can do, we're going to do it. So that's it. Everyone be safe out there, and we'll hope to see you in the next episode. Thanks.
See ya.